WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is the predictable follow-up to WWE Raw vs. SmackDown. Whereas last year it was kind of disappointing. There wasn't a whole lot of extra stuff added to the game, a couple ancillary things here and there, and the one big addition, online play, kind of sucked. That's not the case this year. This year there's the online mode is actually really fun. There's a whole mess of gameplay and mode options that have just sort of been tossed in, and almost all of them are really excellent. And ultimately this is like one of the best wrestling game packages you're going to find anywhere. What makes the game so outstanding is mostly just the sheer amount of stuff it does to try and emulate sort of the real-life TV matches. There's a whole mess of just crazy sort of little mechanics that have been intertwined into the gameplay that turn it into just a much more realistic paced, much more realistic just kind of flow of a match. Stamina and momentum are sort of tracked throughout the game, and as you do more power moves or get more moves done to you, your stamina kind of drops. So you sort of have to be mindful of that while you're going through. You gotta want to kind of break up, weaker and stronger moves, take moments to rest here and there. And then the momentum is just sort of how the crowd views you. It sort of looks at, like how exciting you're making the match, how much you're dominating your opponent, that kind of stuff. And as your momentum builds, you can eventually do finishing moves and other little maneuvers that sort of tie into the special system. A lot of the features from last year's game have also seen a lot of upgrades. The season mode is sort of a longer affair, has more replay value now because there's actually multiple storylines that span the different shows. There's one for Raw, there's one for SmackDown, there's another little bonus one in there. And it progresses sort of like last year's did. It's a very structured kind of thing. It doesn't have much in the way of branching storylines or paths or anything. There's also the GM mode, which is this brand new addition. It's sort of like a franchise mode for wrestling games. You play as a GM, draft your roster, kind of go through the motions, trying to build the best shows you can with the most exciting matches, most popular wrestlers, build up your wrestlers, build up feuds, that kind of stuff. Though that is more the kind of thing that feels like it could be a really great thing in the future. This is more like the groundwork for something really great, because as of right now, it's just kind of a lot of text menus that still kind of fun to play through, but it's more of a distraction than anything else. The flaws in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 are more the kinds of things that have been holdovers from previous games. The AI is still kind of spotty. You'll see guys kind of get stuck into weird move loops here and there. They're like on the lower difficulties, there are times where they'll just kind of stand around, not really doing anything. And then in the later difficulties, it's more just like reversal fest, just constant reversing of your moves. There's not really much more to it than that. So that's kind of annoying. And also the collision detection is still a distinct flaw. It is, it's easy to miss certain moves when it seems like you should be hitting, and vice versa. There are times where it seems like you'll get hit by stuff kind of from a phantom punch or whatnot. But it's definitely not as bad as it's been in previous years. It's just still annoying. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 presents itself probably the best that any SmackDown game has. It just nails that sort of sense of TV-style presentation really well, just like throughout the season mode, and even just when you're playing exhibition matches. There's so many different gimmick match types, all the typical main event matches like, cage matches, ladder matches, all that kind of stuff. And then there's a couple of new ones like the Buried Alive match, where you literally are trying to put a guy in a coffin and then bury him alive. And the Fulfill Your Fantasy match, which is the replacement for the bra and panties match, meaning it's just another dumb, gimmicky women's match where the whole point is to titillate rather than, kind of actually be a good wrestling match. Not to mention that just sort of like the game looks amazing. The graphics are as good as they've ever been in the series. The models are fantastic. And there's the great voice acting from the WWE superstars, which is impressive considering that it was awful last year. Every character you can play is pretty much any of the wrestlers in the game, and whatever character you choose, is totally voice acted. So the voice acting actually changes depending on which character you choose. So the dialogue is mostly the same, but the lines are being delivered by different wrestlers depending on who you choose. It's kind of mind-blowing if you think about it, just the sheer amount of dialogue that's actually in the game. The game is a valuable product for wrestling fans simply because it just offers so much more than last year's game did. I mean, you couple all the different modes that they've added this year with the fact that the online play is actually really fun and offers quite a bit of variety in both match types, kinds of stuff you can do. I mean, you can actually trade created wrestlers with people. You can create your own belts and play for them online. There's just a lot of stuff you can do in this game, and almost all of it is really, really fantastic. Obviously, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is a game for wrestling fans. It is a wrestling game through and through, and it is one of the better wrestling games to come along in recent years. If you're a SmackDown fan or just a fan of any wrestling game that owns a PlayStation 2, you absolutely should not hesitate to go grab this one.